Okay, I'm not too good at this. Been working on the video stuff. I'm real good with the patent stuff, so y'all just have to bear with me. But we're gonna go ahead to go through all this because I've rehearsed quite a bit. Okay, first off, Trump, you say we need some future godly changes. Well, here's a start for you. Mark chapter 8, verse 31, 32, and 33. Verse 31, and he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed after 3 days, rise again. Luke chapter 9, verse 22. So Jesus was telling them, the disciples, and teaching them that he was going to have problems, future problems, with many chiefs and priests, scribes, and elders. Okay, verse 32. And he spake that saying openly, and Peter took him and began to rebuke him. Matthew chapter 16, verse 22 and 23. Peter felt like Jesus shouldn't do that Jesus should let everybody know who he was. And he didn't trust Jesus. That's the sinful nature of Adam and Eve through our bloodstreams. If we don't trust one another, we're not going to get nothing done. We have to be able to trust one another. And Jesus was telling Peter to trust him. And he was also telling the rest of the disciples and everybody else that was around to trust him. In verse 32, and he spake that saying openly, and Peter took him and began to rebuke him. Okay? Verse 33, but when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. So when we savor the things that be of men and not of God, and we don't seek God, I'm seeking God to show you all this invention that I have. And it's patent. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm seeking the Lord for future security for our country against a lot of things that I see in the Bible that could happen, or I'm lukewarm with the Bible. So we have to be able to put our trust on God first, and then we got to find godly people and put our trust on them to know that they're going to keep certain things established for the Lord and not for Satan. Okay, now that I'm done with that. Okay, hopefully this will reach you, Trump. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Burkhalter, and my assistant's name is Michael Norton. I am an inventor and patent attorney. The invention I'm about to present is called the Father Jesus Below Radar Aerial Drone Defense. This is a fail-proof invention, and now I'm going to show 4 pages and then read off my patent continuance. Then I will present the prototype picture presentation. Okay, this is page 1 of 4. These are results. For is there a fail-proof way for our government to keep terrorists from building homemade drones in our own country and flying them below radar? And this goes for drug dealers too. They're terrorists too, especially the cartel in our borders. All right. Now here, the looming threat of drones over the homeland opinion. 15 hours ago, and this study here was done, I'll give the date. This is what it says. The U.S. government should assign someone the responsibility for developing a strategy and approach to defend the homeland from drone threats. Well, I've got the strategy. I just don't have the money or the power. But this will work. It's 100% fail-proof too. This was added to Google on 1/5/2025 of this month in this year. Okay. This is page 2. More than 20 years after the 9/11 attacks, a new threat to the homeland looms ominously on the horizon. Drones as the certain falls of the East Coast drone saga. Alarm bells should be ringing in Washington, D.C., not because criminals or other bad actors were to blame for any of the recent sightings, but because these same failures that contribute to the 9/11 terrorist attacks were apparent in the federal response over the last 2 months. The government should urgently enact change to counter this emerging threat. Okay, here's 3. Now this is page 1. Forgot to show it to the camera. These are all AI online studies, truthful studies on Google. Here's page 2. This is all things that the government says that we're needing to do. Okay, I'm going to read page 3. Well, here's page 3, and then I'll read it. Okay. A ground-based military radar primarily looks for the reflection of radio waves from objects like enemy aircraft vehicles, personnel, and even small drones, allowing it to detect their present location and sometimes even their movement speed, essentially providing a picture of what's happening on the ground in a given area, even in conditions with poor visibility like darkness or fog. So this is military ground-based radar. It says that it can even do these things in darkness and fog due to night vision and heat. Okay, here's page 4. Okay. Kites and birds do not put off distinctive sound waves, so that would not affect ground-to-air radar surveillance. And now for the continuance and the prototype picture presentation. Here's my continuance, and this is what it says at the bottom. K. Kimball, State of Tennessee Notary Public, Knox County, Knoxville, Tennessee. She dated it here. Here's my signature. Here's her signature. And here's also some verses. And we can get in this as soon as we get a chance. But the main thing is I don't want to run out of time on the video. Blueprint continuance. Prototype for this invention is for below radar military defense for all aerial vehicles, especially drones. This will allow the government to monitor all registered and unregistered illegal aerial vehicles while in flight below radar. On page 1 is a small radar box that can be used through the military in all the U.S. with a perimeter range from each other so they don't disrupt each other's airwaves. With the airwaves being so tight, it will be impossible for anything to fly by without being detected. Once those are set up on pages 4, 5, and 6, then a government announcement can be made for all sold and unsold aerial vehicles to be brought in to have on pages 2 and 3 mini saber vanes to be mounted on the aerial vehicles with small GPS built in on the saber vanes. Now the GPS will have to be downloaded and registered with the aerial vehicle or it won't run. Now the mini saber vanes set off magnetic waves for sonar detection, which will be monitored by our U.S. military. So they will know very quick if a illegal, unregistered aerial vehicle is flying below or above radar. Page 7 will stop the threat, many heat seeker missiles or missiles to shoot it or them down if anyone connects ground radar to radar, mini saber bands, or any other aerial along any other aerial vehicle along with military mini heat seeker missiles or defense weapons along with GPS. This will be a patent infringement. And the date on this is 1/2/2025 is when I patented of this year. Okay, now here's okay, right here. Okay, this is the prototype picture presentation of page 1. Okay, now here's the presentation. Right here is page 1. And then I'll read this off. This is a radar machine. A small one, but it's big enough to do the job. Okay. Now, okay, this is a basic picture of a ground-to-air radar. Now, the next 4 pictures that I have, page number 2 on them are radio towers, cell phone towers, electric utility towers. Now, here are the ground-to-air radars attached to the towers. Now, again, as it is mentioned on my continuance, the radar waves will have to be adjusted to the distance of each tower so that each radar does not affect each other's readings. Okay, now let me move on to page 3, but before I do that, here's 1 and 2. Okay, we keep this stuff lined up. Right here is 1 and 2. Now here's a poster, and this poster right here shows how everything's going to work. Okay, here's page 1 that I just showed on the radar. Okay, here is 2. This here is a tower. This is a radio tower. Here's another radio tower. That's 2, number 2. These here are electrical towers, mouse towers with the radar attached to them. You got the radar attached to the radio towers, and then you got a cell phone tower down here. Okay, right here, and it's got the radar attached to it. And then you've also got telephone poles, but I had to try to make this the best I could. Now, we're going to go on to the rest of it. Let me put this back down here. Make sure I don't mess up the phone. I'll drop it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Make sure it's still running. Yeah, it's still running. This is all homemade stuff. I'm doing all right, though. All right. Now, let's see right here. I got to finish reading page 6. Okay, now, let's move on to page 3. This is a small GPS. This combined with each radar will show the position of any drone. Okay, so here, let me show you this. This is the GPS right here on the poster. Now, I've got the other pictures too, which would be the best thing for me to go ahead and show. Here's the radar. Right there's the radar. Okay. Here is page 2. These are Sabre panels, okay? Right here on the poster. Now the radar goes down to the towers. Right here. That's my arrows going to everything. Okay, now we're going to go to page 3. Right here is a mini GPS tracker. And as you can see, it's small, but it sets off a very powerful signal because we have so many so many cell phone towers anyway. So that's going to ping. And we don't have a problem with our drones being monitored with the app that they already have. They're real good about monitoring any kind of illegal activity or no-fly zones. So along with the GPS, you know, considering that drone's already got a GPS on it, but this GPS here is going to be mounted to these. These are mini Sabre vanes. They're not very big at all. I'll go on down here and show you. This is 5. That was number 4 there. This is 5 right here. This is a legal drone. It's circled in green. It says right here, legal GPS Sabre vane aerial vehicle registered. There's the Sabre vane that I have outlined connected to the drone. That's about the size. Might have to be a little bit of adjustments because I'm doing all this offline. Well, the GPS is mounted to the Sabre vane. Now that GPS has the app with the drone, through the drone app. So there's no way, if someone tries to take those panels, that panel will not work on any other drone without that GPS. It won't do no good because that GPS is issued to that panel, to that Sabre vanes, the panel. And that panel sends off a ping, which what that ping does is it's going to be transmitted through the phone company, but what happens is it'll be transmitted through the military first, and then it'll be transmitted through the phone company that's a legit registered vehicle with that app. Okay, if not, then this here will happen. This here's a ground-to-air heat seeker launcher military truck. Okay, and it says right here, military base that monitors through aerial vehicle apps. Okay, now that's number 6. Here's number 7. This is a mini heat seeker missile. And as you can see, this guy's holding this, and it's not very big at all. And what's going to happen here is it's going to go up to this drone right here, which is the last number, number 8, Kapowie. Illegal, unregistered drone. No Sabre panel, no bit GPS with the app that is registered through. That drone will not fly without that GPS and that Sabre panel. So if somebody puts a Sabre panel on another drone, or it's going to send off those 3 frequencies. There's no way with 2 separate apps, and the 3rd frequency is through the military of the ground-to-air radar. So those 3 frequencies are going to confirm that that's not a legal drone, because they're only going to have 1 frequency, and it might not even have that. Now that's only if it's a U.S. citizen flying in a unrestricted area, or in a restricted area. Not unrestricted, but an unrestricted area. Okay, so if this is a terrorist, there's no way that they are going to be able to fly their drone anywhere, any kind of drug dealer, even if it's homemade, and they don't have an app. Because the simple fact is they don't have this. They don't have the GPS and the Sabre panels with the app through the phone company and the connection through the military. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And here's the rest of my pictures. Now these are all certified, notarized. There's the Sabre panels. There's GPS. There's a tower. There's a tower. Right there's a tower. The radio towers, mouse towers. And we've got all that, and also telephone poles. There's the heat seeker missile. All these are signed and notarized, and I've done the patent process myself. Now, I'm not going to show anybody that part because that's how I make my money. So, and this right here is the last page, page 9. And this page right here says, this is one of the verses, and I've also got Isaiah on the other paper that I can read when I get this invented. And if it takes me cutting a royalty to a manufacturers or whatever, I'm more than happy to do it for our country. And Trump, as far as I can tell, you've got the ability to be a good president. And you got the ability to show God first for our country. And then us second, because God is first. We are second. Verse 27, this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 27. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. And this is a prototype picture military aerial defense. So, slay all her bullocks. Okay, that's a great symbolic sign of animals. Say you got a farmer woman that takes care of bulls. Let them go down to the slaughter. Well, they'll fall dead on the ground. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. This is evil terrorists. And if we don't get this under control, then what's going to happen is we might get somebody real nasty that wants to deliver a payload. And I've got pictures of drones that will carry one hell of a payload. Now, this is another thing. You got a bunch of liars and false prophets online doing a lot of evil stuff. And people's trying to pay them. It's not right. You shouldn't do that. They shouldn't mislead our people and our nation. And this is why, because you had one guy that go on, I'm not going to say no names, nothing. You had one guy go on there and he said, well, the government was test running drones up in Manhattan and New York. Well, if they was test running drones, they would announce that they wrecked one in a parking lot shopping center the size of a pickup truck. And the authorities would have known. We would automatically known. Everybody wouldn't have been questioned, why did this happen? Okay, the other drone, it was above radar, and the military shot it down. Now, why would our government shoot down their own drone? That does not even sound right at all. They're not going to do nothing like that. So these false prophets and stuff need to be set straight. I got one more verse, 34. I'm opening the Bible up anywhere. And I'll show you how good this gets. Let's read 3 to 4. Luke chapter 20. If you put the 20 in front of the 25, that's 2025. I never done it like that. It's pretty cool. Now, I did do 2024 if you put the 24 behind the 20. Okay, now, verse 3. And he answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, and answer me. That's what I'm asking the government. And I would like to seek an answer. The chapter title is Christ Rideth into Jerusalem. And that's another thing. There's a lot of terrible stuff going on over there. They're going to probably see it way before us. Verse 4. Well, they're seeing a lot now. It's pretty bad. And I pray for them a lot. Pretty much every night. The whole world. Verse 4. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? Matthew chapter 21, verse 25. It's not hard for any of us to go and ask someone to baptize. baptize us. This stuff with these false prophets about water and going through all these ordinances, they sound like a bunch of Pharisees. All we have to do, it's good to have good, clean water, but it's not really about the water. It's about the thought. It's about Christ, because all water is of God. So our children, if anyone's out there and they can hear me and they have not baptized their children, they need to be baptized, because that's a great symbolic sign of love for the Lord. If we don't do that, then we're not going. God is not going to pour out blessings on us in return. So we have to show the Lord, and we have to show the Lord that we love Him. Now, I think this is a good start. I hope y'all enjoy my presentation. God bless. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Amen.